Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Dungeonbowl week number 1. Old Gamer Mike, thank you so very much for the sub. I appreciate it. We are underway in this final open competition. Tizzle Pizzle, thank you for the bits. Thank you for the tickets. we're in week number 1, and we're, by the way, man, 3. SB Beaver, thank you so much. All right, we got a good one tonight. It's gonna be Undead versus Necro tonight. We've got the Dead Poets versus the Goodest Boys. S Beaver versus newcomer to the league, Old Gamer Mike. Undead versus Necro. Looks like I might need to up the costs of some things. Let's take a look at the standings before we take a look at these two teams. We are in Division A this evening. In first place is Eric's Dwarven team, played a Wood Elf team in the Spike Magazine Trophy, has a new team coming in the Dungeonbowl, our Grudges with Novel. They won week number 1. They're currently in first place, 1-0. S Beaver and Goodest Boys are going to get underway this evening. And in Division B, we have the Harlequins, BBFC, coached by BB Nut, an Undead team, 1-0. They won their first game this week. They are currently in first place. They are in a division with the Real American Heroes, the runners-up to the Spike Magazine Trophy. And in Division C, we have Tizork Savage Boys, coached by Tizzle Bizzle, and Orc team 1-0 is their record in week 1. They defeated Maximum Von Cito, Malik's team last night. That's a Lizardman team. S. Beaver says, I have 275,000 points and 50 points each. That's roughly 1 billion emotes. We'll work out costs in the future. But until then, BB Nuts says, so we top of the league right now. Oh, we got 6 more weeks, baby. All right, first up, the home team, S Beavers, the Dead Poets, coming to TV at 1,490,000 gold. They have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players on the roster. Oh, wow, Laura Dern the second. That really confused me. Laura Dern the second, I forgot, now plays for the Dead Poets, used to play for Cenozoic Park. Congratulations to S Beaver for picking up that, let's call it a trade. 2 mummies, 2 of the whites, 4 ghouls, and 4 zombies on the roster, 1 cheerleader, 1 assistant coach, 3 dedicated fans, and a whopping 4 rerolls. They're going to be up against this Necro team this evening, the Goodest Boys, coached by Old Gamer Mike. This will be Old Gamer Mike's first game in the league. We'll see how he does here, how they do here. 11 players on the roster, 990,000 gold in TV. That's 470, is that right? 470,000 gold in petty cash. That will be going back to Old Gamer Mike this evening. 1 dedicated fan, just the 2 rerolls, and honestly, I think it's an uphill battle on paper here. How are the 2 teams going to play? Well, look at this Undead team. S Beaver has been kitting out this team all season long. He's got 2 mummies. The mummies come with Mighty Blow. They have guard. They have block. That is a great place to be. Morrison and Cobain, the 2 blitzers, they both have tackle. There's only 1 player on the opposing team. That's the ghoul that has the dodge skill, and you can bet that one of these 2 blitzers will be shadowing that ghoul to try to negate that dodge skill. He has the 4 ghoul runners that you can pick up on an undead team. That's great. 2 have sure hands. Both are blodgers. 1 has sidestep that's absolutely fantastic, and to make matters worse, he has block on 2 of his linemen. Very solid roster here tonight. This is where he wants to be. Has a lot of rerolls with 4. We've seen S Beaver. He likes to play with perhaps higher than average rerolls, and it works to his advantage. He makes it work very well. Has a real solid team. Von Rue, thank you so much for the sub. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very, very much. Has a real solid team. Old Gamer Mike has a lot of skills to compete against here. How is he going to do that with this this fresh Necro team? The Werewolves, they're MA8 with Claw and Frenzy. He's really going to have to lean on these 2 Werewolves, David Kessler and Patty Ryan, in order to push players out of position and maybe even try to get some removals with claws. An undead team, it's a running team. They tend to cage up and open up holes and punch downfield. Werewolves can effectively break up that cage, right? They can break up the cage, they can break up the line, they can break up the formation. But you have to be careful because Frenzy is going to require you to follow up. And if you just go haywire with it, you will find your werewolves picked off in quick order. He'll have to be real careful. Interesting is the Wraith here with Jack Goodman. They have block, but look at this. They have foul appearance and they have sidestep. So what that means is foul appearance, we've seen that before. Foul appearance, if you try to take a block or a blitz on this player, you have to roll a d6 first. On a 1, you're done. So with good positioning here, right, Jack Goodman has the block skill, has sidestep, which means if he gets pushed around, Old Gamer Mike will be able to reposition the Wraith really to where he wants the Wraith to be. And if he can get lucky on some of these foul appearances, especially on a blitz, if this Wraith can get into position to be somewhere that S-Beaver needs to blitz out of the way and rolls a 1, that's it. That blitz is done. So this is another piece to watch out for that Old Gamer Mike needs to make a lot of use out of. Has 5 of the zombies, zombie linemen. That's exactly the same on the undead team. They're very good linemen for their cost. Just the 2 rerolls is going to hurt, but he's getting a lot of petty cash. I think that's Ivan the Animals coming out tonight. I think that's a Wizard that's coming out tonight. I think maybe even that's a couple of kegs that come out tonight just to make sure he keeps his single ghoul runner. We'll see what Old Gamer Mike decides to do himself. It is going to be an uphill battle, but you know what? Blood Bowl, we've talked about this 1,000 times before. You have so much agency in this game. There are so many decisions to make, from what race you're running to what team composition you're running to what skills you're picking to what inducements you're picking to what strategies and tactics you're using, that you can't count this team out. Necro is a solid team, even at TV 1 million. We haven't seen Old Gamer Mike play yet. We don't know what his play style is. He might have some tricks up his sleeve, and that's what we're here to find out tonight. I'm very excited for this matchup. I think we have an underdog on paper, but perhaps not in reality. We'll see here in just a minute. I'm going to stop yammering. We're going to get this game underway. This is our game for tonight. We have another game coming up tomorrow night as well. We'll talk about that as the game closes out here. Clear skies for our game this evening. PB says, yeah, we have an underdog. Ivan's opponent. Oh my goodness, look at this pitch. Goodest boys ended up with 500,000 gold in petty cash. They picked up 2 kegs. There it is. Ivan the Animal Deathchild, as expected, is going to be the star player for this Necro team this evening. What was that? Two kegs and what else? Was it a Wizard? We'll see in a minute. Yes, indeed. He's got the Wizard. Wizard, always a solid pickup. Dead Poets win the toss. They are going to set up on offense. They want to control the momentum in the first half of this game. And now the Goodest boys will set up their defense. There he is. Ivan the Animal, MA6, strength of 4, has Juggernaut, has Disturbing Presence, Strip, Ball, Tackle, and Block. BB Nut says, shame there's no Acorn. Acorn is awesome. I very much look forward to Acorn being added to the game. Wizard's also very, very threatening. Even if you don't spend the Wizard, just having it on deck gives you a strong advantage. It forces your opponent to play differently. They don't want to give you a big opportunity for a fireball. They don't want to throw a guy out by his lonesome. Maybe a weaker guy who's susceptible to a zap. So it changes up the tactics that your opponent uses. And that's very strong for 150k. Two in either wide zone, pulling them off of the line by a couple of spaces. Dr. J.S. Hirsch, the number 5 Ghoul Runner, is the safety this evening for this first drive. The Dead Poets now to set up their offense. Both mummies on the line. The two big guys for the Necro team are these Flesh Golems. Strength of 4 with Stand Firm. They're pretty good. These mummies, however, are strength of 5 with Mighty Blow. At level 1, that is. They only have an MA of 3. The Flesh Golems have an MA of 4. Old Gamer Mike electing to pull these Flesh Golems off the line. Doesn't want to tangle with those mummies and just have them getting pounded by these two big guys. Elects to keep them free and reposition them to try to play what looks like it might be a pitch control game tonight. 3 on the line for the Dead Poets. 2 back to receive. Here's the kick. Shallow kick. Everybody gets a free bribe. I want to see some fouling. The ball kicked to the opposing 8-yard line over in the left wide zone. Turn 1 underway for the Dead Poets. Two-die block to get things started for the Dead Poets after repositioning a zombie on the ball. Gets a knockdown on the center defensive tackle. Two-die block on this left defensive end. This will work out to the block skill. Final block is going to be a push on the right defensive end here. The Dead Poets rocking the wood dice. I'll tell you a secret. I know why he's rocking the wood dice, right? Wood is a really soft material. He's been rolling them. He's been quote unquote practicing with the dice, but really what he's been doing is he's been denting them ever so slightly to give him advantageous rolls turn after turn. That's right. And that's not illegal! Unless he's playing me, and that's totally illegal. Takes a mark on Benjamin, the number 10 zombie lineman, to get the two-die blitz. Double pals out of this. No armor break. Still a good knockdown on these linemen. MA4 means they get 1 point of movement when they stand up. Repositions Cobain, the blitzer, onto the line. Now in the right tackle position. Going for the ball pickup. Wow. Goes for the ball pickup right now. Hendricks, the ball carrier. A blodger, number 6, level 4 Ghoul Runner. Moves that ball back to mid-pitch. And now he's going to set up some protection. Has to watch out for this werewolf. On the bonus clock. 30 seconds has been spent. Yeah, had to cover that gap. Or else that Ghoul Runner potentially would have eaten a blitz by the werewolf. The follow-up, the frenzy follow-up might have been a little scary. Turn 1 now for the Goodest boys. Old Gamer Mike's oh, you know what? I just realized I think I have their name wrong. There's 2 G's in Old Gamer Mike. I'm gonna have to fix that. Their first turn in the league is going to be Sergeant McManus, the number 2 Flesh Golem, is going to move forward, and Mark Morrison, the white blitzer, on the right, front right corner of this cage. Here comes that werewolf. Very speedy werewolf. MA8 with Claw and Frenzy. This is my favorite part of these guys. They have socks on the clothesline. Old Gamer Mike repositioning the defense here, not getting greedy, spreading the defense out, trying to give the offense nowhere to poke open a hole and advance through. 4 ghoul runners. That's very, very fast. MA7 on all 4 of those ghoul runners. Look at that. He just sort of wafts across the line of scrimmage. Jack Goodman, the number 7 Wraith. Here we go. Frenzy Bliss trying to get a surf here on Alexander. He's going to get a pound instead. Can he break armor? Cannot. Has plenty of movement left with Patty Ryan. And gets a second mark on Thane, the ghoul runner on the front left corner of the cage. Has a wizard target of 4 players. It's going to elect not to use it here. We're going to go into turn 2 for the Dead Poets. You can use your wizard before or after your turn. You get 1 of 2 spells to use for the entire game. It's either a Fireball, which will affect a 3x3 grid, or a Zap, which will affect just 1 space and potentially turn a player into a frog. I got this new keyboard, and it's got like macro keys on the left side, and I just keep pressing them as if they're like my Control Shift Caps Lock Tab and tilde key. I am very much not used to it. Dead Poets are probably going to cage up somewhere around here. But they have to be careful that they don't get closed in by the defense. He's going to cross the line of scrimmage, in fact. He's going to move up to the 4-yard line. This means he's probably going to blitz Ivan the Animal. We'll get a 2-die blitz out of this. "15 seconds left on the clock for the Dead Poets. The Dead Poets. There's that 2-die blitz on Ivan the Animal. Ivan Deathshroud, number 6, breaks armor! Wow! See you later, Ivan. Great armor break by the Dead Poets for the injury on the star player. Kapow! Nuffle is kind. A big blow to the Goodest boys here, as that star player will see virtually no use in this game. Hanru says no regen. Yeah. Ivan the Animal Deathshroud does have regen. Failed the regen roll. Nuffle be praised. Takes the 2-die uphill on the werewolf. We'll get a push out of this. Frees up the werewolf. He's trying to pick the werewolf off, but it's a very, very speedy piece. Can also just zip back into position. Down the left sideline. Gets a push on Benjamin, the number 10 lineman. Fireball spent. Got nothing. Just one knockdown on the fireball. That's Cobain. I almost said something illicit. Cobain. Wow. Doug the Minotaur. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for the sub. Blood Bowl is indeed backle. 2 inducements come and go with no real utility. Old Gamer Mike saw the opportunity, had 5 players to target on the fireball and just got the one knockdown. We'll see if he can leverage this to get at the ball. Instead, gonna take a blitz in the back left corner of the cage, rolls into double skulls, spends the first of 2 rerolls, breaks armor here on the POW, gets stun out of it, had to follow up due to frenzy, and now has a mark on the ball carrier. "13 seconds on the clock for the Goodest boys." Yeah, there's that second werewolf, can just dart back into position, gets back on defense in the left wide zone. 2-die block now on Thane, the injured ghoul runner. Gets a knockdown, no armor break. Bad Dog, welcome to the stream. Goodest boys now have to play with their roster. Lost their star player, spent their wizard. And now they're up against a very tough undead team. Turn 3 for the Dead Poets. They have the ball on the opposing 4-yard line at dead center of the pitch. 2-die block on David Kessler. The number 3 werewolf is going to be a knockdown here. Breaks armor. Gets a stun. These first 2 turns for the Dead Poets have been brutal. Brutal for the Goodest boys. We'll see what S. Beaver's going to do in this turn. Sprints down pitch with Hendricks. Gets all the way to the 18-yard line in the right wide zone. It's going to try to mark a bunch of players and keep them from following up and getting at Hendricks. And even if they do, they're up against a blodger with sidestep. Block and dodge means only a POW's going to knock down Hendricks. Sidestep means that if he doesn't get knocked down, he just gets pushed aside. S. Beaver will decide where he gets pushed. And it doesn't have to be directly backwards. It can be any open adjacent space he wishes. Takes a blitz on Patty Ryan, trying to remove these very important pieces, these werewolves. Gets a knockdown. Doesn't break armor. Remember, the mummies have Mighty Blow. It's going to give them a +1 to their armor or their injury roll, whichever they need it for. I also wanted the soft keys, like the quiet keys for this keyboard. Going for the foul! Nice foul attempt here. One after the foul of David Kessler remembered that Nuffle granted both teams a bribe, trying to remove these werewolves. But instead I got the clicky-clacky keys, and I was like, oh, that's going to be terrible. And then I thought, wait a minute, no, it's not. I don't go into an office. It's fine. I can be as loud as I want. Watch this. Turn 3, back to the Goodest boys. Stop typing. Dude, that block gets a push. Joplin. No, that 2-die block on Laura Dern the second. It's a push here. Old Gamer Mike looking for the blocks, looking for some SPP, looking to get something out of this drive. It's going to be really difficult at catching Hendrix. Double skulls on Thane. He's going to spend his final team reroll on this. Gets a POW. No more rerolls this half for the Goodest boys. Good dodge by the werewolf, but can we take a minute to check out the Goodest boys cheerleaders? Check that squad out. Look at that. Oh my god. Look at that. Oh man, they might be my favorite. Takes a 1-die block. Breaks armor here. Gets a stun. I cannot tell what's happening with my camera. Alright, there we go. Turn 4 now for the Dead Poets. Von asks, what are they? Scarecrows, I believe. Blitz declared. Going after Patty Ryan. Tries to rush. Has to spend a reroll. Got through double pals. 8+ is going to break armor with Mighty Blow. Doesn't get it. Dead Poets down to 2 rerolls for the half. Two-die block on the number 13 lineman will be a pal here. Looking for some removals. Breaks armor, gets a stun. Hank the Ranger, thank you so very much for the sub. Welcome to the stream. Hank the Ranger reminds everyone to never rush. It fails 900% of the time. Aka Lunar, welcome to the stream, says second reroll spent rushing on that wolf. Yes, indeed. Had 4. Spent 2 going after the werewolf. Advances Hendrix, the ball carrier, up to the 22-yard line over in that right wide zone. It is pretty free and clear at this point. Another foul, and the second werewolf doesn't get anything out of this foul. Keeps the bribe, did not get seen by the ref. That's probably because the ref is all the way over here. What are you looking at, ref? Oh, I know what he's looking at. He's looking at the fabulous Goodest boys cheerleader squad. Look at them go. Look at that. Whoever animated that, kudos. I love you. 2-die uphill. On Inspector Villiers? Villiers. Gets a push out of it. It's going to be stand firm. Flesh golems don't get pushed around too easily. Final turn of the first quarter coming out. The Goodest boys really looking to just Try to force this score and maybe get on the board before the half ends. Turn's going to start with a 2-die block on Lara. Duran, the second, will get a knockdown, breaks armor. Gets a stun. Double pals on Joplin. Can they get an 8+? They can. That's a KO. Well done. All tied up, 10v10 on the pitch, I believe. Double skulls is going to be a turnover. And that's another turn. The Dead Poets are going to be able to stall this out. Turn 5, second quarter begins. Starting with a 2-die blitz, gets double skulls, decides to spend the reroll. He says, you know what, I'm going to be here for another 4 turns. That's fine. Spend the reroll. Gets a POW out of this on Sergeant McManus. Doesn't break armor. Down to 1 reroll for the half. Two-day block in the right wide zone will be a knockdown on Benjamin, the number 10 lineman. All these knockdowns mean it's just that many more turns that S. Beaver can stall this out. Spending 3 MA to stand up for each of these knockdown players. Goes for the foul again. And now an uphill block is going to work out. It's going to get the knockdown on the number 1 flesh column. Doesn't get an armor break out of it. Hank the Ranger says, doesn't SP Beaver have like 45 rerolls? He started with 4. He's down to 1. Dodges away Thane. Thane with a broken, was that broken arm? Yeah, broken arm. Brings the PA, reduces the PA value from a 4+ to a 5+. That doesn't matter so much. Thane was never intended to pass a ball. Okay, Mike really needs to be looking to try to force this score. Running out of time in the half. It's a difficult proposition to go toe-to-toe with this team. The undead team just has so much block, has a guard on the mummies. Really, you don't want to play the bashy game against this undead team. You want to play more of a positional game, and just don't give the team that has the bashy skills the ability to leverage them against you. Yeah, good dodge by the werewolf. To try to force. Yeah, it takes a rush, I think. Oh, it takes 2 rushes. Showing off. It takes 2 rushes. Trying to go after Hendrick here. Trying to force this score. Turn 6 now for the Dead Poets. They'll pull Morrison back for sure. We'll see if he takes the rush blitz with the mummy. Morrison's going to take a mark on Patty Ryan. But that's certainly not enough to save Hendricks. Hector Ranger says, Fate is now guaranteed to complete a game winning past this season. Commentators jinx. I'm here for it. We've seen things with worse odds happen. All right, 2-die block back at the line of scrimmage. We get a knockdown on number 2. Breaks armor on the flesh golem. Gets a removal out of it. Well done. 1-man player advantage for the Dead Poets. We'll see if that KO sticks. If it does, that'll be huge. Especially if he can draw this out, or lengthen this drive out until turn 8. Gets a knockdown on Patty Ryan. Did take the rush blitz. Patty Ryan with an MA of 8, though. Still plenty mobile. Will have 5 MA to spend on their next turn. Decides to score. Didn't want to risk it. I think that was the right call. 1-0. The Dead Poets are going to take the lead with a commanding first drive to this game. Well done. She may be up against a squad of cheerleaders, but she's going to work. She's going to work. Cheer for her team. So the KO sticks for the Dead Poets. Does it stick for the opposing team? It does for the Goodest Boys, but that's fine. I think the Old Gamer Mike is perfectly okay with this because he's going to get another drive to get that player back. Anchor formation for the Dead Poets on defense. 3 turns for this Necro team to get on the board. They can certainly do it with these werewolves. Every piece on the pitch is going to matter at this point. He needs to secure a section of the pitch, to carve it out, to protect it, and give his werewolves a lane to run down, or perhaps even the ghoul. Ghoul probably a safer bet with the dodge skill. The werewolves can go to work with Claw and Frenzy. Spread wide on this offense. Here's the kick. Oh, very shallow kick. Very shallow kick by the defense. And this may be a problem for the defense now. Good catch by Patty Ryan. And now the Goodest Boys have an opportunity to cut off the defense. Yeah, there goes Patty Ryan. He can try to swing some players around here. Needs to be careful with rolling dice. Wants to make sure these tackle zones are there, so doesn't want to risk any die rolls with no rerolls remaining. Takes a mark on Hendricks. Oh boy. I might have saved that for last and maybe risk the double rush just to get into a better position. But Old Gamer Mike doing what they need to do here, taking marks, trying to pick the defense off. Going for the blitz on Alexander. 2-die blitz, gets a push. This is going to push that lineman 1 space toward the ball carrier. Has to follow up. Good dodge. Very good dodge by Max. The werewolf being on the sideline is going to be an issue, but we'll see if he can get through it. 4 good dodges by these linemen. Wow! Took an extra mark. Not strictly necessary here. Already had the mark with the flesh golem. Maybe he was worried about the assist. Maybe like a block down the line or something. Hank the Ranger rooting for the offense. The Dead Poets on turn 7 looking to stop this 2-turn touchdown. Takes a mark with Fane. Just dodges for the blitz, 2-die blitz. Oh, not going to try to surf him. Gets the pal, well done. We'll see if this ball stays on the pitch. It does. That ball stays right where it was after the knockdown. Well done by the Dead Poets. Old Gamer Mike, to their credit, saw an opportunity, took it. Just up against a really skilled up undead team here. Armor break by the white, gets a stun. Goodest boys will be on offense to start the second half of this game. You're certainly not out. Going for the foul on that werewolf. 1 assist. The ref finally sees that one, calls the player off the pitch. He'll probably argue the call here. Nope, he'll use the bribe. And the ref says, thank you very much. Jones is going to stay on the pitch. Dead Poets, under 4 minutes, 30 seconds left on the bonus clock for the game. Blitz has been spent, repositioning here, looking for a way to try to score on turn 8. We'll need somebody in scoring position. But I don't really know anybody that can do it except for maybe Cobain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cobain can do it. It's going to have to rush Cobain down pitch, and then maybe he has an opportunity to go up 2-0 in the half. Hank the Ranger asks, I missed the start. What inducement did Mike take? He took Ivan, the Animal Death Shroud, a Wizard, and I think 2 kegs. Ivan was injured on turn 2. The Wizard was spent and only got a knockdown out of 5 players on a cage in turn 3. Double pals on Joseph, the number 13 lineman. Gets a KO. We'll see if that sticks for the second half. Dead Poets really burning into this bonus clock. 3 minutes, 14 seconds remaining. Goodest boys now on turn 7. So the Dead Poets electing not to go for the score, the turn 8 score. Hank Ranger says it's awful to lose a star player early as the underdog team. It is. It very much is. Anytime you spend inducement money, right? Inducements are the equalizer, right? You're down a certain amount of TV, you get that in inducements. You want to use it, and it's real rough when you lose it, right? But that's part of the game that makes star players have a target on their back, and if you're not careful, you can lose them. Just the same with the Wizard. When you see a good fireball target, you can say, oh, yeah, here's my opportunity to knock out a bunch of players. But I wouldn't rely... You don't... Yes, you're rolling lots of dice in this game. Is he pushing on the ball? No, he's not. Yes, you're relying on lots of die rolls in this game, but you don't... Or you're making lots of die rolls, but you don't want to rely on them. You don't want to rely on 50-50 die rolls or anything of that nature. You really want to make your actions as reliable as possible. So when you go for the fireball, it's not just a matter of how many players you can get under the fireball, but it's also a matter of, is this going to give you an opportunity to get at the ball? which is going to require some positioning, right? Because you don't know who, if anyone's going to get knocked down. So if one of those corners get knocked down, you want to have players in the position to go into that corner, go after the ball, and recover it. Armor break with the Mummy gets a stun against Ted. Poor Ted, the lineman. He doesn't even know he's playing Blood Bowl. He's a temp. Yesterday he was working in an office. Today he's on the Blood Bowl pitch. I have a Transformers toy, like, you know, the transforming robots. I have a Transformers toy that is a robot that transforms into a stapler. And this is true. It is an honest to God official Transformer whose name is Steve from accounting. 37 seconds left on the clock here for the Dead Poets. Just looking to stop the score. Hank the Ranger asks, does it actually staple? It does not. Two-die block on the number 1 Flesh Golem gets a POW here. Looking for a big 10 plus to break armor. And he got the armor break, gets a stun. Goes for the ball pickup. Boy, what a risky ball pickup. Oh, he has a reroll left. But if that went like out of bounds, if that ball went out of bounds, it just got tossed back in like here. Boy. Oh, SB would be kicking himself. Final turn of the first half coming up. The Goodest boys. I don't see a way, really, to get this ball down pitch to Patty Ryan. Remember, Jack Goodman, the Wraith here, MA6, but has no hands, so can't be a ball carrier. Stand-up blitz on Winehouse. Gets a pal with David Kessler. Looking to get some SPP on this werewolf. Got the KO. That'll be the end of the half. 1-0. The Dead Poets are in the lead. The Goodest boys will be on offense to start the second half. Well played by both coaches. Got both KOs back. Old Gamer Mike happy about that for sure. The Dead Poets back on defense. Changing up the anchor formation here. Has 3 on the line. Both mummies on the line as per the usual. Has Johnson, the level 2 lineman in that center position with these 2 guards here that basically makes all 3 players strength 5. Nope, deciding to go with the anchor formation after all. It's more like a bow and arrow, really, with the Ghoul Runner back as a safety. And the linemen are the fletching. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. There you go. There you go. Wow, lots of players up at the line for this Necro team. Dr. J.S. Hirsch, the number 5 Ghoul Runner, back to receive. Here's the kick. Middling kick. The ball's going to stay... The weather's going to stay the same. The ball's going to scatter 1 extra space. Ball's been kicked all the way back to the 20-yard line in the left wide zone. Turn 9 now for the Goodest boys. Back up to 2 rerolls for the rest of the game. They're going to take a mark on Laura Dern, the second. Used to play for Cenozoic Park. Now playing for the Dead Poets. Takes a mark on Alexander, the number 12 zombie lineman on the right side as well. Going in on these linebackers. Taking lots of marks. Is he going to try to score early here? Blitz still on the table. 3 offensive linemen spread wide, but marking all 3 defensive tackles. Going for the ball pickup. 3+ ball pickup. Fails the pickup. Decides to spend the reroll on the pickup. Has it on this turn. And will advance the ball up to the 14-yard line. Over in the left wide zone. Goodest boys down to 1 reroll for the game. A lot of the times what you see coaches do is, let's say the ball is here, right? Let's say this is the ball. They'll move players back into position to cover the ball. Maybe a player here or something like that. And then they'll go for the ball pickup. That way, if they fail the pickup, they don't have to spend the reroll. The ball will just bounce one space adjacent to the ball to the would-be ball carrier, and they say, that's fine, I've got protection on the ball, I can try again next turn. Blitz with David Kessler. Gets a push on Laura Dern. Frenzy follow-up into another push. Can't get the knockdown on the blitz. Good dodge off the line. That was a 50-50 dodge to pull a player back. To try to get some protection on the ball carrier. That frees up Johnson. And now a 2-die block by the Dead Poets will work out due to the block skill. Breaks armor with the mummy and gets the KO. Well done. 11 v 10, I think. Let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 versus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, it's 9. 11 v 9. I'm sorry. 11 v 8. Finally a regen roll for this undead team. 11 v 8 on the pitch. Dead Poets with a 3-man player advantage, then the lead 1-0. Goodest boys still have that bribe they got from the first drive of the game. Have yet to see a foul from the team. Dead Poets still have their blitz. They're repositioning on Sergeant McManus. Going after this flesh golem. Gets a POW, but needs a 10+. Doesn't get it. And the Dead Poets once again on the bonus clock. They're down to 2 minutes 39 seconds for the game. So last week I was at something called the World Board Gaming Championship in Seven Springs, Pennsylvania. Had an absolute blast. It was a ton of fun. There are different events. So you can do it however you want. There is sort of a grand champion, so to speak. They call it the Caesar. But you get points for certain events. And sort of the main events are called the Century. They're the top 100 events. Good KO. 4-man player advantage for the Dead Poets now. The Century are the top 100 events by participation the previous year. So those are the main events. And you get points for placing 1 through 6 in each of those competitions. But then you have trial games, they're called. And those are the top 25 games by vote from members of the Board Game Players Association. And you get points for those as well. Anyway, the point of this story is I am a Tribune member. I get 3 votes. And I'm very much going to vote for Blood Bowl next year. And we're going to see how far we get with that. I would love to see Blood Bowl at the WBC. One Die Blitz by Patty Ryan. Takes the both down result. Has to take it. Doesn't have the... What happened to the other reroll? No rerolls left for the Goodest boys. I missed. I must have been rambling. There it is. On the rush. Jack Goodman on the rush. Failed the reroll, or failed the rush. Spent the reroll. No rerolls remaining for the Goodest boys. They do have the ball on the opposing 2-yard line in the left wide zone. They are very, very much not safe. Again, this is a tough matchup for this fresh team against this skilled undead team. This undead team has had 2 competitions, 2 tournaments to skill up. Hank the Ranger says, I've been to Seven Springs to ski. I've also gotten drunk there and decided to roller skate. One of the worst decisions of my life. Two Die Black. It's a knockdown on David Kessler. That's that werewolf. These 2 werewolves are some of the most important pieces on a Necro team. They can really do a lot of damage. They can get to where they need to be as well. With Frenzy, that means the sidelines are all but eliminated from the opposition as positioning options as well. Yeah, everyone was real nice. It gets a dodge push on Jack Goodman, but has a tackle skill. Oh, I'm sorry, has a tackle skill, so it's going to be a knockdown. But still has sidestep. Jack Goodman's going to sidestep inward and get stunned. Yeah, everyone was really nice at the venue, on and off the venue. Everyone was really nice. But I remember we went to dinner, and I got a burger, and I if I don't know the place, like I would prefer the burger be medium, but if I don't know the place, I don't trust it, and I get it well. So I asked the waitress, I'm like, will I be an asshole? Will the chef think I'm an asshole if I order this well? And she's like, you can be as much of an asshole as you want. I was like, oh, thank you. Dead Poets. Pushing players away, trying to get some SPP, trying to get some players toward the ball. Goodest boys still in control here on turn 11. They have the ball on the opposing 2-yard line. Retreats the ball carrier back across the line of scrimmage, now on his own 8-yard line. Trying to bridge the number 1 flesh golem in the right sideline. Gets a push, keeps all the marks. I think that's not a bad turn. He took 2 actions. I think that's fine. He knows he has no rerolls left. He retreats the ball carrier, takes the block with the Flesh Golem. I think that's a fine turn indeed. Gets the block. It's going to be... Gets the block to free up the Mummy. We'll get the knockdown with the Mummy. Doesn't break armor. And the ball's going to bounce to the 6-yard line. Two-die block on Alf. Alf. Alien life form. Gets the knockdown. And now a two-die block on David Kessler. Gets a knockdown here as well. Goodest boys, of course, trying to win games, but really also trying to look to get some SPP. If he can come out with some SPP, which you'll always come out with an MVP, then you really can't be too sad about a performance when you're in at the low TV stages of your team. I love those cheerleaders. Dead Poets now trying to surround the ball with a ghoul, a white, and a mummy. Both standing result thanks to Stan Furner over in the left wide zone. Takes a 1-die against Sergeant McManus. This time gets the knockdown. Can he get the 10+? He cannot. One-die block over in the right wide zone is a push. Decides to allow the push here. Three-plus ball pickup works out. Ball's in the hands of Jones, the number 7 rookie runner for the Dead Poets. Turn 12 for the Goodest boys. Can they recover this ball and at least try to get a tie out of this game? Old Gamer Mike putting up a valiant effort against this team. This was a tough matchup coming in and has been fighting it out turn after turn. We saw before in the previous turn. Understood he was down to 0 rerolls and decided not to risk losing tackle zones over in this mob on the left side. So still continuing to reevaluate the turns. I think he's doing a real good job, all things considered. Went in for the blitz on Jones. Got a push, but now has a mark on the ball carrier. Final turn of the third quarter coming up. The Dead Poets have the ball on the opposing 2-yard line. They have a positive dodge backwards and then forward to safety. If they can come out this way and shoot down here, they'll all but guarantee their score. Double skulls on the block. Spends 1 reroll. Gets the knockdown. Gets a stun out of it. 2 rerolls left for the Dead Poets. That's a pretty big stun. That was the only real threatening player on this ball carrier after the repositioning happens here. Another armor break gets another stun. SPber at this point, probably not satisfied with these stuns. Once beginning the Kaz's, gets the casualties. They give you 2 SPP. There are 4 ways to score SPP in the game of Blood Bowl. SPP stands for Star Player Points. Those are the experience points for your players. You get 3 SPP for a touchdown. You get 2 SPP for causing a casualty. That means breaking the armor of a player, getting through the injury table, getting a casualty result on the injury table so that you roll on the casualty table. You get 1 SPP for performing a successful pass. You get 4 SPP for being declared the MVP of the game. Re-rolls into a POW. I would say I'm not sure that was worth it, but at this stage of the game, I think it's fine. Maybe save those re-rolls for the Kaz's. He's going to spend the final reroll after the skull gets a push on David Kessler. So no rerolls for either team remaining. Breaks armor finally on a werewolf, but only gets a KO out of it. Hank the Ranger says SPB reduces by another 4 rerolls. Goodest boys up in this final quarter of the game. They're down 0-1. They get a POW on Laura Dern the second. Old Gamer Mike looking for some SPP as well. Gets a knockdown on Cobain. Breaks armor this time. This is an important armor break because where'd he go? There he is. Jack Goodman, this Wraith here, probably not going to be a player that you're picking up a whole lot of SPP on. Oh boy! But you just picked up 2 on the werewolf. Well done by Patty Ryan. Double pals. Got the Kaz. Well done. That's what you need to do. Dead Poets are going to park this ball on the 24-yard line. They're going to stay there so long as nobody is nearby. Two-die block on Ted. The number 11 lineman over in the left wide zone gets a POW here. Lots of games to play in the Dungeonbowl. We have 3 divisions in this competition. 7 teams in each division. That means 7 weeks of play. 1 team each week will get a bye. The top team from each of the 3 divisions, plus the highest ranking runner-up between all 3 divisions. So those 4 teams will advance to the top 4 in this competition. The finalists of which will earn an invitation to the championship competition, Blood Bowl 4. This will take place after the end of the Dungeon Bowl. Very important to, this goes without saying, but very important to place as high as you can, because if you're not going to win your division, you need to be the best runner-up between all 3 divisions in order to advance. Dead Poets taking their blocks and now repositioning some players, getting some tackle zones in place. We'll probably see them do this turn after turn, just to make sure they can sell this out till turn 16. Turn 14 now for the Goodest boys. Repositioning some players, looking for some blocks to take. Stand up blitz with the werewolf's gonna be a push. Frenzy follow up into a knockout on Johnson, the level 2 lineman. Look at Joplin here. 19 SPP on this level 3 ghoul runner. You absolutely know S. Beaver is saving up for a characteristic increase on Joplin. Needs, what do you need on a level 3? I think it's 22. 22 SPP to get the characteristic upgrade. Trying to apply some late game pressure here. Dr. J.S. Hirsch advances down pitch. Turn 14 now for the Dead Poets. Honestly, at this point in the game, you know the game's in the bag. He's going to stall it. I might just guarantee the score, get my 3 SPP on this rookie ghoul runner, and start leveling this player. You know, guarantee that I can start leveling this player. Then you're up 2-0. Who cares if your opponent, scores a touchdown? I mean, sure, it does improve their standings, right? But I think maybe getting my team outfitted the way I want might be a higher priority for me, at least. Blitz spent on the mummy. Did I say blintz? That'd be delicious. The blitz was spent on the mummy. Repositioning here, just going through the motions on these tactics here to ensure that nobody can get at this ball carrier. He wants to stall it out till turn 16, it seems. Gets 2 more SPP on that mummy. Well done. It is a regen, but he will get the 2 SPP. Brings him up to 14 on Lennon. And there's another player back to protect this ball carrier. Turn 15 for the Goodest boys. Just 2 seconds left on the bonus clock for the Dead Poets. They really burned through that clock. But that's okay. You get 7 minutes, 30 seconds of extra time for the duration of the game. S. Beaver used just about every second of it and has had a very solid game. Two-die block way back in no man's land. Gets a push on Alexander, the level 2 zombie lineman. Doesn't get anything out of it. Looking for SPP. Looking to improve the team for week 2. There we go. That's a way to do it. Gets a KO out of it. KOs are not worth SPP. You need a casualty. Gotta try to force the score here. He's been in it every single turn. He's not going to stop now. Turn 15 for the Dead Poets. And he's just going to score I was gonna say scored the ball. Walked the ball into the end zone. 2-0. The Dead Poets increased their lead. Well done. They'll be on offense one more time. They'll be on defense one more time, rather. White Blitzer is going to come back for the Dead Poets. 2 knocked out players, the Werewolf and a lineman, come back for this Necro team for this will more than likely be the final drive of the game. Dead Poets here with turn 16 remaining are just going to move everybody back to the line. There's 1 half turn left. Needs to keep 3 on the line here at mid-pitch. Everybody else is going to be 2 spaces away from the end zone, just in case there's an extra turn and somebody's able to get by. It's going to maximize the amount of dodges that need to be made. See if the Goodest boys can get on the board. If Nuffle will grace us with a timeout. 5 on the line. Goodest boys looking to murder that defensive line. Here's the kick. Get the ref a free bribe. 2 bribes. The Goodest boys are going to sit on one of those. At least one of those. Going to try to block down the line here. Looking for some SPP on Jack Goodman. Gets a POW out of this, but no armor break. 2-die block on the right defensive end will be a knockdown as well. Can he get the 9+? He can, but gets nothing out of it. Final block on the line. Gets a push. Has a blitz available. And the Rangers just foul everything. Gets a POW this time on Lara during the second. 9+ to break armor. Doesn't happen. Will we see a GG foul? We might see a pass for some SPP on Dr. J.S. Hirsch. He is going to go for the GG foul. All right, 3 assists currently on the foul. That brings the armor value to a 6+ on Laura Dern, the second. Poor Laura Dern. 5+ now. 4+. Here it is, 4+ to break armor. Only got a KO out of it and got called off. The ref's like, come on now. 2-0 is going to be the score. I'm sorry. He did use both bribes. That ref is an enterprising gentleman. He says, I know you got 2. 1's not enough. You're giving me 2. Gonna try to get this past SPP, but can't pick up the ball. And that is the game. Well played by both coaches. Oh boy. Oh, there's a turn left. That's right. The Dead Poets were on offense or on defense. I forgot they started on defense, and there we go. Gets nothing out of it. Oh, look at those dances. 2-0 is the final. Well played by both coaches. Again, that was a tough battle. That was going to be a tough battle right out of the gate. Why is that happening? There we go. That was going to be a tough battle right out of the gate for the Necro team, but Old Gamer Mike stuck with it, fought it out to the end, and played a great game, all things considered. It was just real unfortunate. He lost Ivan Death Shroud right on turn 2, and then the Fireball, got nothing out of the Fireball on turn 3. But I don't know how much SPP they got, unfortunately, because there's still the bug that we can't see the end game stats. But hopefully got enough SPP to start trying to get this team out one by one. Necro's a great team. Old Gamer Mike had a great showing for the first game in the league tonight. Really well done by both coaches. S. Beaver is going to take the lead in Division A. The way standings work in this competition is you get ranked by your total points first. Every win's worth 3 points. Every draw is worth 1 point. Then it's who beat whom. So in this case, if the Dead Poets had already played our Grudges with Nuffle and won, they would be in first place. If our Grudges with Nuffle had beaten the Dead Poets, they would be in first place. After that is your TD differential. So it's the total amounts of TDs you've scored versus how many you've given away. You can see the Dead Poets there have scored 2 and given away 0, so they have a TD diff of +2. And the final tiebreaker, well, not the final, but after that, it's how many TDs you've scored. So if your TD differential is the same and you're still tied, if you've scored more total TDs than your opponent has, you get ranked higher than them. And finally, if 2 teams are still tied and it matters for ranking, in other words, if it matters for a top 4 cut, we'll say, then they'll have a playoff match where they'll play a game and see who comes out on top. But that'll do it for tonight. Let's take a look at the schedule before we leave. There we go. Coming up next, we have a game tomorrow night, Wednesday, July 31st at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. It's UTC -4. That's going to be Death Fist Pawns versus the White Skull Windbreakers. Run Bad versus League Champion Doug the Minotaur. That's Black Orcs versus Orcs. That is going to be a great match. I can't wait for that match. And then on Thursday at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we have the Juxtaposed Juggernauts versus Street Fighters Turbo Max. That's going to be a super fun one. That's a Chaos Renegades mirror match, War Horseman versus Ian. And then on Sunday night, August 4th at 9:30 p.m., we have the Real American Heroes versus Subductus Super Kilocopters, Dead Fred versus Berserker Tempest. Those are Dark Elves versus Underworld. And then we're going to finish out the week next Monday, August 5th at 9:30 p.m. with Rodentia versus Nevagana, Spire versus Chime, that's Skaven versus Orc. All great games. I look at all these games we have, and that's just the first week. We have 7 total weeks of regulation before the cut to top 4 in this Dungeonbowl. I am super excited to be back in this game, commentating, watching, playing. I love Blood Bowl. I hope you do too. I hope you stick around and watch our games. It's a ton of fun. Week 1 already scheduled, but once week 1 is over, week 2 will begin to be scheduled. And when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's MAML.CLUB, here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel, Play Blood Bowl. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening.